With 4 finishes, 2 decisions, and fighters making big statements in their respective weight classes, the fights at the top of the card at UFC Houston delivered plenty of eye-catching performances. Let's recap the best of them right now as we present our UFC Houston Power Rankings. At number 6, Michel Pereira. The first fight on the main card looked like it was going to deliver a knockdown, drag-out affair, and it did. 3 rounds of high-paced action, loads of back-and-forth stuff, but Michel Pereira was the one who got the split decision verdict. Honestly, I thought Zachary Reese had done enough to win that fight on the judges' scorecards, but it was razor close. Both men having their successes in that 3-round fight. Not the spectacular, high-flying Michel Pereira that we've grown used to seeing. He's toned his game down a little bit, being a little bit more effective and a little bit less flashy, and I think that stood him in good stead here against a very tough Zachary Reese. But it was Pereira who went out and just about did enough to steal away a split decision verdict. At number 5, Sergey Spivak, another man who went to the judges' scorecards, but in a way that we just did not expect to see, taking on Ante Delia, a guy who is known for just going in and blowing the doors off people with his strikes. Everybody thought Sergey would go in there, goad him in with a bit of striking, and then turn to his wrestling. That's not what we saw on fight night on Saturday night in Houston, Texas. The Polar Bear stood and traded with walking trouble and got the better of the Croatian across the 3 rounds. There was a bit of clinch work, there was a takedown mixed in there for good measure, but in the main, it was stand-up stuff from Spivak to earn the unanimous decision verdict. At number 4, Jacoby Smith, and for a guy with the talent that this man has, he's probably going to be insulted by how low down on the list he is. Looks like he's cut from solid marble, goes in there, puts on a great performance against Josiah Harrell on his octagon debut, gets taken down, which is a bit of a surprise for a guy with such a strong wrestling base, but as soon as he was on his way to the mat, he already knew what he was going to do. He rolled through brilliantly, ended up on top, and once he was there, down came the heavy artillery. Absolutely bludgeoned Josiah Harrell into unconsciousness. Really brutal finish. Hardcore stuff from Jacoby Smith. He is a terrifying prospect at welterweight. At number 3, the Dalmatian himself, Melquizael Costa. A great performance from the Brazilian. Came into this fight on a hot run of form, but taking on the toughest opponent of his UFC career to date in dangerous Dan Ige, 50k Dan Ige, who does not fold very easily to anybody, but he goes in there and absolutely blows the doors off Dan Ige. Spinning back kick and punches. It was reminiscent of Renan Barão and Eddie Wineland. Great performance from Costa. Gets the job done just inside the first round, just with 4 seconds left at the end of that first round. Gets the finish. Brilliant stuff from him, and he is moving on up that featherweight division. Costa looks like he is the real deal. I'm not sure who they're going to match him with, but it's going to be a fantastic fight if he's involved. Great stuff from the Brazilian. He's at number 3 in our power rankings this week. At number 2, the man in the co-main event, Uros Medic. The doctor predicted a big performance on Saturday against Jeff Neal as he looked to explode his way into the UFC welterweight rankings, and boy did he back up his pre-fight prediction of a first round knockout. Incredible stuff from the doctor himself, going in there. 1 minute 19 seconds was all he needed to dispense with Jeff Neal, who has been in that welterweight ranking list for several years now and does not get finished easily. Medic went in there and blew the doors off him in just 79 seconds. Great performance from the Serbian, and another super exciting contender to join a growing list of exciting contenders in that 170-pound division. And at number 1 in our power rankings this week, we had to give it to him, Sean Strickland, the main eventer, taking on Anthony Hernandez. Arguably one of his best performances in the octagon, certainly over the last couple or 3 years, as he went in there and just looked as sharp as a tack. His jab was outstanding. People like to hate on him for his jabs and his teeps because they might not be the most exciting tools to use in a mixed martial arts fight, but by God are they effective, and he used them perfectly. to keep Anthony Hernandez, who's more of a phone booth style fighter, kept him on the outside, frustrated him, chipping away at him. And then, as Hernandez finally managed to step into range midway through the third round, Strickland just crushes him to the body with a huge knee, hurts him badly, sees the opportunity, and gets the finish with a barrage of punches that just overwhelmed Hernandez. Huge win for Sean Strickland, who announced to the world that he's very much still in the mix at the top of that 185-pound division. Will he get a title fight next? I'm not so sure about that, but he's certainly in the conversation. And Tarzan, he's going nowhere. That's your power rankings for UFC Houston. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know the order that you would have put the main card winners in on fight night for UFC Houston. We'll be back next week to do our power rankings for the next UFC show coming from Mexico City as England's own Lonnie Kavanagh steps in on short notice to take on a legend, Mexico's own former flyweight champion of the world, Brandon Moreno. That should be an incredible matchup on a very lively fight card at Arena CDMX on Saturday night. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and leave a comment below. We'll speak to you a little bit later. Take care.